Well, chances are you are far less at risk from a falling meteorite than from a rubber duck. Some environmental experts from Canada subjected themselves to the everyday chemicals we use in our everyday lives, and they authored a book they call Slow Death from Rubber Duck. Here's a summary, or at least a quick look from our own Gary Nuremberg. I gotta hear this one.
Well, Derek, you remember that guy who made the movie about what would happen to his health after he ate at fast food restaurants for a month? This is sort of like that. Bruce Lurie and Rick Smith exposed themselves to the chemicals we all rub up against every day, monitored their blood and urine levels, and came up with some unsettling conclusions.
Very glad to be here in the U.S. this week.
They talked about Slow Death by Rubber Duck, the secret danger from everyday things, at Busboys and Poets Wednesday night. The premise: everyday things have chemicals that can harm you. Rubber ducks?
And so you have a little rubber duck floating in the bath. The child starts chewing on the duck. The chemical is released into the child's mouth and then is absorbed into the body.
A paper receipt from the drugstore?
This kind of almost waxy white receipt that so many of us handle every day turns out to be coated with bisphenol A, which is a known hormone-disrupting chemical. Very strong links between this chemical and prostate cancer, breast cancer.
The same stuff lines almost all canned food containers.
And then the chemical leaches into the food and then is consumed.
It's on CDs and DVDs, too. The men exposed themselves to the chemicals and monitored blood and urine samples.
We didn't do what millions of Americans don't do every single day of their lives. You know, just basic stuff.
Smith used over-the-counter antibacterial products with a chemical he says is linked to thyroid cancer.
I looked at my blood levels of this chemical before and after, and my levels went up by almost 3,000 times just in a 48-hour period.
Non-stick cookware, on high, 5 minutes.
It'll hit temperatures that cause toxic fumes that come off of the frying pan, and they will be toxic enough that if you happen to have a pet canary in your kitchen, it'll be dead within minutes.
Well, in some cases, there is no definitive science proving exposure to a particular chemical causes the harm, but science is emerging. Only last Friday, the FDA changed course and called for new research into that chemical that lines food containers, the same stuff on that grocery receipt and on those CDs, agreeing, the FDA did, with one finding that it is cause for, quote, some concern. Be kind to your pet canary, Anita.